obviously we see Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk are sort of amicable on either side in making the way for the undisputed clash, whether that be Wembley with a record sellout or maybe Saudi Arabia, as previously spoken about. A fight that all boxing purists want to see, and I suppose one that we need to see to cement the number one in the division. If that fight is to be made, sort of how do you believe styles gel, and how does that fight play out in your eyes?
So I don't think there's any point asking me, because I'm just, I'm fully supporting Tyson in this fight. So it's quite one-sided.
You believe it's a one-sided fight? Away from your friendship with Tyson?
One-sided opinion. But I do think that Usyk, listen, he's a great fighter. Look what he's achieved in boxing, cruiserweight, coming up to heavyweight, undisputed. He wants to be what every heavyweight wants to be, champion. And I think he does give Tyson a bit of trouble with the angles and movements. But I just think Tyson's too big, and he'll eventually catch him.
Top man.
And those are the words, of course, of Joseph Spidey Parker and his prediction on Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk in and with when they collide. Of course, he gave you no illusions of who he backs. Of course, he is the adopted honorary gypsy of Tyson Fury and his clan. And Joseph Parker made that known. Like, wait a minute. I don't know why you're asking me. I'm going to support Tyson. I'm Team Tyson now. And, so he had to bring and lay down the politician answer and credo before giving his true account on what he thinks and how he thinks that fight could happen. Of course, Joseph is a mellow fellow, and he did give his props to Oleksandr Usyk by stating his accomplishments. No disrespect, again, mellow fellow. But he said that Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk will be interesting. He did say this about Usyk. He said that Usyk, his angles will give Tyson Fury trouble or problems, throughout that fight. But he, of course, cleaned it up with, he thinks Tyson is just too big, and he thinks Tyson will eventually catch Oleksandr Usyk. And let me counterpunch Joseph Parker, the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, for you guys that don't know that. All right. I feel that he's correct. He's 50-50. I think he's correct with the angles. And I think a lot of people don't really look at that. And I think Joseph Parker, coming from a faster or used to be fast fighter himself, because Joseph Parker was regarded as one of the fastest heavyweights back in the day. He had very quick combinations. I feel that he's got bigger and chunkier and heavier, so that made him slower and more sluggish and not as crisp or as sharper as he used to be. But I think he still knows, and he can identify with that. He can empathize with Oleksandr Usyk with his speed and his angles. Not saying he was better than Usyk, but he knows what it's like to box and move, just like he did with Andy Ruiz. If you guys can remember that, where he outboxed him to a victory and giving Ruiz his first professional loss, fighting for the WBO. So Joseph Parker fought Andy Ruiz for the WBO. So him seeing Oleksandr Usyk, seeing that what he's capable of doing, it shows you that people pay attention. It shows you that. And that was my whole thing about Usyk. That's why Usyk has a very good chance of beating Tyson Fury, because there won't be a person like Derek Chisora, like Dillian White, like Deontay Wilder, which all three of those guys have shitty footwork. Now, if you were a fan of any of these fighters, I'm not disrespecting them or anything like that. They are just not like Usyk. So let me say that. They don't have the footwork Usyk has. Okay? So the 3 opponents that Tyson Fury has fought, he hasn't had to deal with that type of stuff or that type of challenge with someone that's giving you these angles from left to right, head movement side to side, foot movement back and forth, around and about. He hasn't had to deal with that in his 3 fights that he's had since 2020. Okay, up to now. And that will give him problems. And so I agree with Joseph Parker, because there's a lot of things that could go wrong with thinking, with a lot of people's perception that, hey, I'm going to throw 2 or 3 punches at this guy, and then I'm going to grab him, and then I'm going to lay on him. Okay, that's what a lot of people think this is going to be. I have longer reach. I'm going to reach out and touch him. If I can get to him, see where he's at, hold him, hit him, lay on him, drain him, wear him down, then take him out in the later rounds. That's what a lot of people think is going to happen to Tyson Fury in his battle against Usyk. But I don't think so, because I know how the Ukrainians view clinching. They don't tolerate clinching. Okay? So when he does try to grab Usyk, Usyk is either going to shove him off like he did Anthony Joshua in their fight, or he's going to spin out and spin opposite of the hand that he's clinched with. So if Tyson can grab him, if he doesn't bear hug him, and if he grabs him from a side, Usyk is going to snatch himself out of that, or again, shove him back. Okay, because he's not going to allow Fury to hold him, especially not in the beginning rounds. Now, maybe Usyk might get tired, and that may be permittable, because then Tyson Fury will now have an anchor, and he'll have a point of reference to take rests, because Tyson is very good at that. People think Tyson has a big gas tank. No, he's just able to reserve it and moderate it and manage it properly, just like he did with Wilder. He didn't throw 4 or 5 punches straight. What he did, he might have threw 5 or 6 punches. Nah, yeah, 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 yeah. And then when he done that, he had someone to grab onto. Then he would grab, breathe, hold, take another punch at Wilder. But of course, this doesn't have the amount of steam on it as he did when he was far enough, because he had the space to create the power for those shots. But no, so they won't be those type of shots, but he's still scoring and he's still inflicting damage on his opponents. That's what makes Tyson Fury special, because Tyson Fury is able to utilize what he does. There's a reason for everything Tyson Fury does in there. Okay, so if Usyk gets tired, it would be more in favor of Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is accustomed to fighting when he is a quarter tank low. Okay, so he knows, like, look, I have to reserve this gas, and I know how to do that. Let me hold on a little bit, catch my breath, let me grab him, but let me still show him that I'm in the fight. So I'm going to give him a little whack or two, either on the side of the face or an uppercut inside, especially he's being a shorter guy, like he did Otto Vailene, right? Another southpaw, right? But this is not Otto Vailene. Otto Vailene, he invited those clinches. That's why he got caught. He was trying to get these shots inside, but he was so comfortable with leaning in to those clinches. Usyk won't be. Okay? Usyk will instead, just like Joseph Parker said, right? He'll be using these angles, and it will not allow Tyson Fury to do what he normally done, especially with the last 3 opponents. Okay? Now, one thing I don't agree with Joseph Parker is, Joseph Parker said, oh, well, eventually he will catch him. Well, this is not Steve Cunningham either. Okay? He caught Steve Cunningham with a few good shots before catching him. And then when he caught him, the best punch he caught him with was controversial. But Joseph is treating Tyson like he's this one-punch knockout artist. We've already debunked that, okay? He's not that dude. He puts together combinations. He's very, very big, or should I say very fast for a big man. That's what makes Tyson Fury unique. And then you add all those other accolades on top of it. Okay? So anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Joseph Parker's prediction of Oleksandr Usyk, that Oleksandr Usyk gives him problems with his ankles and his footwork. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace!